The Silent Caller. A true horror story. Julia had been living alone in her small third-floor apartment for almost a year. It was quiet, old, and a bit creaky, but she liked the solitude. Everything was normal until one cold November night when the phone rang at 2:14 a.m. She hesitated before answering, but when she picked up, there was nothing, just a deep, steady breathing. No words, no sound but breath. For the next 2 weeks, the calls continued. Always late at night, always silent. Julia tried to convince herself it was a wrong number or some glitch in the line, but the breathing, it felt intentional, like someone was listening. Waiting. She tried to sleep with the phone unplugged once, but it didn't matter. The moment she plugged it back in, it rang within seconds. The first time the caller finally spoke, Julia was half asleep on the couch. The phone rang. She answered. A whisper, so faint she almost missed it, slithered through the line. "I can see you." Julia froze, her eyes scanning the dark corners of her living room. She lived on the third floor. Who could possibly see her? Shaking, she called the police the next morning. The officer told her they'd put a trace on the line, but she should keep answering the calls so they could track the number. Julia agreed, though the idea of hearing that whisper again filled her with dread. That night, she left every light in her apartment on. The calls kept coming. Some nights, the caller would whisper something unintelligible. Other nights, only breathing. One night he said her name. Another night, he described the color of the shirt she was wearing. Julia stopped sleeping. She spent her nights sitting upright in her bed, clutching a kitchen knife. After 10 days, the police finally contacted her. The officer sounded uneasy. "We traced the calls," he said. "They're coming from an abandoned house 2 blocks from you. No one is supposed to be living there." Julia felt sick. She had walked past that house countless times. It had boarded-up windows, overgrown weeds, and a rusted gate. The thought of someone inside, calling her every night, it was unbearable. The police investigated the house the next morning. Julia waited anxiously in her apartment until she got the call from the officer. His voice was different, shaken. "We found a phone inside. Connected, working, but the house is empty." She swallowed. "Empty? There's no furniture, no electricity, and nothing but a mattress on the floor." Julia's skin crawled. Later that evening, the officer visited her with a piece of evidence, a Polaroid photograph found in the abandoned house. Julia's heart dropped the moment she saw it. The photo showed her apartment building, specifically, her window. Taken from outside. From below, the officer said it looked recent. Just after midnight, the phone rang again. Her hands trembled as she answered. But this time, the caller wasn't whispering. He was laughing. A slow, distorted laugh. Then he said something that made Julia collapse to her knees. "Why did you let them come? I'm not in the house anymore." In an instant, Julia understood. The calls had stopped for a few hours, the longest silence in weeks. He wasn't calling from the abandoned house anymore. He had moved closer. Maybe inside her building. Maybe on her floor. Maybe right outside her door. She dropped the phone and backed away. The apartment was silent. Too silent. Then, creak. A single footstep in the hallway. Then another. Slow. Heavy. Getting closer. Julia grabbed her keys, her shoes, anything she could reach, and rushed toward the back window. She climbed down the fire escape barefoot, the metal freezing under her feet. Halfway down, she heard her apartment door slam open above her. A man's voice echoed from inside, low, angry, searching. Julia didn't look up. She ran. She didn't stop running until she reached the police station. The police searched her apartment thoroughly. They found the front lock tampered with from the inside. They also found footprints, muddy, large, leading through her hallway and straight to her bedroom door. But they never found the man. The abandoned house was later demolished. Julia moved to another state. According to the official police report, the phone inside the abandoned house had no record of outgoing calls. No fingerprints. No footprints. Nothing. Yet it kept ringing Julia's number, night after night. And to this day, no one could explain how the calls were made, or how the man always knew exactly where she was.